Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are a part of the launch of a brand new podcast with my co-host, Master or Grandmaster, Karen Eden Herdman. She's with me today, and we're really excited. We've got a lot of things going on. We put some things together. And so welcome to our podcast. We've got some great guests on today, and these guys are martial artists. This is sponsored by Elite Publications. Everyone has a story. You just have to get it out. And, you know, Karen and I, we've been hanging out for a very long time, making a difference in the world. Hey, Karen, welcome to our first podcast together.
I'm so excited because being able to write is a way of making you and your life history, Hanshi, and I can't wait to get into it with everybody.
Well, you know, that's really great. And again, we have some great guests here, but I guess we'll start off of introducing ourselves so that people, our audience, get a chance to know who we are. So ladies always first. So Karen, let's give us a really, brief background, especially, touching your, who are you? What makes you an expert to be a part of this podcast, or that ability to tell someone else what to do?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And I am Grandmaster Karen Eden Herdman. If you're in martial arts, you know that means I'm probably a lot older than I look. 30 years in martial arts teaching and training, hand-to-hand combat, traditional Tang Soo Do. My original instructor, C.S. Kim, out of Western Pennsylvania, around the Pittsburgh area, who I just appreciate so much. But anyway, I'm also a journalist by trade. I have 25 years in the broadcast news and media business. I've had contracts with NBC, Fox News. I've had major hits on National Fox, CNN back in the day, and even Animal Planet. I've written, I've produced, I've recorded, I've live shot. I've done every single thing that you need to do as a broadcast recorder. And I also did a lot of meteorology. That's basically my background as a meteorologist as well as a reporter. So I have a lot of different hats that I've worn over the years in my career. When I got out of being a TV talent, I got right into writing books, and I do have 4 books out, and I still am a monthly columnist for 2 major martial arts magazines, and I've probably written, featured, or been featured in every major martial arts magazine in the world. And I'm very humbled to say that. There's not a whole lot left, actually, but I'm humbled to be part of that history. And that's who I am. And I have a lot of expertise from beginning to write to getting your book out there and promoted. So I am looking forward to working with not only MAs, which means martial artists, but anybody out there who might be interested in writing a book.
Well, that's great. I've been involved in the publishing business now for probably over 30 years. I have produced over 25 books, probably best known for the who's who in the martial arts and martial arts masters and pioneers, and now the martial arts changing lives. But I've been writing for a very long time. And today we're going to talk about why would you write a book. Our podcast is about education, building the confidence, introducing you to people that are already doing these things. So this is nothing new. They're already creating success. This is one of the greatest times in the world to become an author. So we're meeting and talking with people that are already accomplished authors. We are talking to people that's that elite publication that we're already publishing and preparing them to become authors, and how we're using this to be able to change their lives, change the lives in their businesses, all in everything. And as Karen was saying, this is not about martial artists. We're just kicking our program off with our martial arts friends, and these are people that we are starting to help. But our folks as Christian authors, motivational authors, anyone that's willing to, that are looking for a way to make a difference in the world, then Elite Publications, this is what we're about, being able to do that. And today we have 2 authors on, well, one author and one person that's just kicking off his career as an author. So we're going to be meeting with them. We have Robert Nichols and we have Thomas LeBrun, who are with us today. Hi, guys. How are you guys doing?
Very well, thank you.
Hello, sir. How are you? Well, thank you for having us.
This is great. So, like again, you've got Karen and I together. Again, we're, Thomas, you were hanging out in Vegas with us, at the Take Center stage, and you and Karen both received awards at Take Center stage. So you guys are not just authors, you guys are award-winning authors. And so again, we can congratulate you, for that. And again, Robert, he's our brand new guy. We're just launching him, but it's really exciting. And again, Robert, he's easy to work with. He is that person I enjoy working with because he takes action. He takes action, says, I'm good at this, I'm not good at that, so I don't want to do this. So, I'm going, not a problem. You do as much as you want to do. At the end of the day, we just want to be a part of your success and making you look good, because I know that's how we do it. So Karen, I guess, you can, we have a couple of questions that we wanted to start with these guys. So you want to throw one of the questions, you have those questions in front of you? If not,
Absolutely.
I can throw it out. Okay.
And I know Tom's book has been out for a little while. How long, Tom, when did you get your book out, sir?
It's coming up to the first anniversary. So March 15th was the first day that it dropped on BookBaby. And then
Okay.
we did a
Well, I have
second.
to ask you, how has this changed you and or your business? Either one.
So in writing the book, I didn't know what to expect. This was my life story. It's 60 years of my life and my journey through the martial arts and all the things that I've done leading up to this present day. It has opened so many doors, and you got to meet so many different people like yourself, Grandmaster Bowen. We had a big conversation about a year ago, and we hit it off really well. And many compliments and many accolades about the book. In fact, it won Book of the Year 3 months ago through the International Authors Network. So I am very, very proud of that. I used to live in a very small town in New York. One of the people, this was 50 years ago, one of my classmates bought the book, and all of a sudden the whole town is, or most of the town is buying the book. So very warmly, I've reconnected with somebody from a half a century ago. And so the book has just opened, it's just simply amazing. It exceeded all my expectations of what I wanted to experience in writing a book.
Right, absolutely. Tom, your book, I know you're an executive protection specialist.
Right.
Would you say your book is out to reach people who want to train in that, or is it entertainment of all your stories of covering celebrities and so forth?
It's a multi-layered book of my personal life. Within my personal life, it talks a lot about my training, how I get into the close protection industry. So the book is for everybody. And I've had people from high school all the way into their 80s reading the book and getting different messages from it, like inspiration, motivation, that nothing's impossible. So I live in a very small town up here, 4,500 people, and I've gotten to travel to 45 different countries, which is outlined in the book through my protection business. But how did I get there? So the whole book is all these steps that I've taken all these years to get to work for people like Whitney Houston and Elton John and so forth. And so when people say, well, that you can't do that. Well, yes, I can. And I went off and did it, all from the private sector. So I wasn't in law enforcement. I have not been in the military. So I created this business of mine many years ago, and it certainly has paid off. Now in telling the story, so.
Well, so this book is basically a biography so far of the things that have taken place in you. I understand. Absolutely. And, biographies, they're the most fun to write or autobiographies, because have you discovered, Tom, that it actually makes you do a little bit of soul searching. You go backwards, you go forward, you go, wow,
Yes.
who am I and what have I done and how did I do that? You agree with me? That's what it's like.
Yes, I do. It started when I was age 5 and I wanted to be Superman.
There you go.
As this book unfolds, I have saved letters from people from early 80s. So as I'm telling this story through a timeline, I'm adding these letters in there to kind of authenticate the story that I'm telling. So through my whole book, you'll see these letters from different people that have either studied under me in the martial arts or studied under me in the close protection business, and what that meant to them as we move through my life in this book. So it's been very rewarding, a very rewarding journey. And it's also about my family and taking care of mom and dad to their final days and so forth. So again, multi-layered in its approach. And I wanted to touch many people. So
there's a lot of life in there. And, I always tell people, Tom, if you really want to go on some self-discovery, write an autobiography.
Right.
You will see parts of you. It will amaze you. Thank you so much, Tom. That was, I can't wait to get a copy of it and read that. I love biographies. I learn so much from people's lives, and you just can't put a price on learning from somebody else's journey. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible. Hanshi, do we go to Robert, or you want to take Robert? What would you like to do?
I'll move on to Robert. And like I said, since he's one of the new guys, and I know he doesn't have any stage fright or anything like that. But Robbie, as I said before, we started talking about it. Now we're talking about new authors. Now, Tom is he's a year, he's launched his book, and congratulations, sir. You just made 10th degree black belt. See, all of these things start to happening. So when you begin to open up this world of success, this opportunities. Now you could say, well, what if he didn't write his book? He would have still had a story, but it probably wouldn't be this particular story. So if you have a story and you decide to write a book, you're going to have an outcome. If you decide not to, you're going to still have an outcome regardless. So, you can write an autobiography book that talks about you and your journey. You can write a book just for your grandkids to tell your story about your legacy that, so how many, Ancestry.com, I forgot the number of people that log on searching, trying to find something about their past, their grandparents. How many legacies, speaking martial arts, in the martial arts, that we don't know the truth about the founders or our teachers. We don't know anything about them because they didn't leave that information. So the graveyard is the richest place in the land. So we have to realize that the power of our story and what we actually share. So, Robert, what, really triggered, I think we had sent some information to you, but, you were triggered. I followed up, you were triggered and you said, hey, I'm gonna do this. I said, I like you because you're that guy when you get locked in, I'm gonna do this. Then you go and do it. But, you have your martial arts school, you're venturing out now to your business of coaching. So what triggered you? Because a lot of people may be watching our podcast or listening to our podcast, and they may be saying, well, I've been thinking about it for 20 years, and I'm still been writing my book for 20 years, and I'm not going to let you take 20 years to write your book. So that one is off the table. So what really, what clicked with you to make that decision to, okay, I'm ready to become an author?
Well, first, real quick, let me say, thank you both for having me on the show. And Tom, when I found out I was going to be on the show with you, I ordered your book yesterday. I'm just waiting for it to get delivered. So what triggered me? I mean, I think it was several things. I mean, I think I agree with you. Yes, and in some ways, you triggered me, sir. We were talking about some other things. We were talking about the Hall of Honors book, and you happened to bring up, hey, have you ever thought about writing a book? And yes, I was one of those people that had kind of thought about it before. Had kind of thought, I think I've got a bit of a story. I think I've accumulated some knowledge in my 2 years of martial arts training, 20 years owning a school. And I see myself as a person that I'm a pretty average guy who's, trust me, if there's a mistake to be made, I've made it. But I've learned from it and tried to push forward. So I've thought about writing that book before, and you know, like I said, you kind of said a couple of things that had clicked with me. It's just, well, why would you write it? And then when you said, why would you write it? And I kind of thought about it. I said, well, why wouldn't I write it? Why not? You know, I've got other things going on. I've got, you know, obviously a business to run and family and all those other things, but why not leave something so that way I can say, you know, hey, I did that. You know, I'm not just leaving it behind for me. It's as you said before, you know, if the graveyard is the richest place, I want to make sure that the things I leave behind are found by others, or worst case scenario, even if they're just found by my kid. You know, I'm trying to leave behind that example. You know, as you say, you know, you're starting to work with martial arts instructors. Well, as martial arts instructors, you know, we're leaders, whether we want to be or not. You know, whether we set out to be leaders or not, we are. So the things that we leave behind and the things that we say are the examples for the people that choose to follow us. So that's a pretty long-winded version of what I think triggered me, but there you go. I think that kind of covers it.
Well, you know, that's good, you know, because if you can verbalize why, then you're already in front of the game. And I think that's really key because, you know, as we began to work with you in our coaching program, so at Elite, we just don't publish your book. You know, my job I want to be personal and to help to coach, help to coach you in what you're doing. And you're going into business coaching, you know, so, you know, you have your book, we have, you know, the Audible book that we're going to do. So there's so many things you can do with that. And you can go to www.coachrobertnichols.com and you can go and check out his website. The first thing that I try to do is start with the end in mind. That's Stephen Covey's approach. And we start marketing your book. We start building you. So what we've done, I think we've built a really beautiful website that, you know, his brand and, you know, Robert, he had implementation of design, the cover, the color, everything is Robert. It's not Elite, it's Robert. Elite just try to bring his vision, you know, together in building something. When people go there, they'll go, hey, this is really nice. I want to be a part of this. Now there, you know, Karen, I try to talk to people about, you know, the 3 reasons that people would actually become an author. As again, you know, we want our podcast not to be just talking about books. We want something there to educate someone that, you know, you have a story. What if we didn't have books? You know, I got all these books, these imaginary fictional books on my screen here. And I don't want to move because one of them may fall out or something here. But just think about it. If we didn't have books, I mean, knowledge that people have written. And what if we didn't have the Bible? Ooh, we would be in bad shape. You know, so just think about that. Then how many for these books, how they can impact someone's life. Just from a magazine, you know, Karen, you and I, we write for a magazine. I got inspired to get into martial to become a karate champion because I saw a picture of Chuck Norris holding a giant trophy cup in a magazine. So, you know, writing, you know, these pictures, they can inspire us. You know, what if that magazine hadn't have been there? You know, I would have probably still had an outcome, but I wouldn't have had that first day to stick in my mind for this past 48 years to be planted in my mind. And I see it as fresh as it was if I looked at it this morning. That image of Chuck Norris in that magazine holding that giant trophy cup. I've got 2 of those giant trophy cups here, just like Chuck Norris. But you never know where things are going to happen. So the 3 reasons. Reason number 1 is something you always wanted to do. So that would mean that I've been thinking about it. Okay, I'm going to do it. It doesn't, I can self-publish. It doesn't have to be fancy. I don't care if it sells on Amazon. It doesn't have to be on any platform. This is my book, and I'm going to leave it for my granddaughter. I'm going to leave it for my son, for them to just get written in my words. It doesn't have to be super edited. but it's your book, it's for you, for your particular purpose. That's what I call number one. Getting that book out is something is that bucket list is off the table. Number two reason is that you want your book to do something for you. Again, I'm a corporate trainer. My earlier books, I never thought about them making money because I did seminars. People were coming to my seminars, and I am a Silver Method life success coach and seminar presenter, and I produced these 2-day seminars. People were paying $400 to come to these seminars. So the books were just for the back of the room to build credibility. So the book just was another tool to build credibility. That's what it was for. If they never sold one on, I don't even think Amazon wasn't even around at that time. And during that time, it would cost you too much money to even publish a book anyway. So it might have been the money reason why. But that is reason number two. You wanted to promote your martial arts school. So just like with you, Robert, when your students, when we launch your website this week, they want the book by their teacher. They want to tell their friends that their teacher has a book coming out. What happens when you put your book up on the website and people can now look for martial arts school, they come to yours and they see your book there. And, for me, if I still ran my school, every person that came into my intro program, here's a free copy of my book. Take it home with you. Guess what? I guarantee you, they read a really good book about you, about inspiration. They come back the next day, they sign up. Why? Because that book is an influential tool now to motivate them. They get a chance to know their teacher. So I tell people, if you're featured in one of my books, one of my biography books, it should earn you $10,000, because if you had 10 people came into your school and they signed up on a $100 a month program, guess what? That's $12,000 that's coming into you because they read about you in a book. So that's what we're talking about doing. And the final thing is that you want to monetize, you want to create revenue from your book. That is the toughest book, because you have to write about something that a lot of people want to read about. So that book is a book of having mail lists and all those things to be able to monetize, to be able to do that. So those are basically the three reasons that I look at someone wanting to write a book. Then if you want to monetize, then you have to understand how to be able to market your book. Karen, I know I just said 2 mouthfuls. Anything that you want to add on that?
I would just like to say, gentlemen, I came up with this teacher called Dojo Disciple, and that was an inner city program I had for street kids and former gang members. And I also take that same program now into Native American areas. But on that t-shirt that I had produced and I sold the KarateDepot.com several years ago, so I think it's still online. But the last thing I put in that is pass your knowledge forward so that others can grow. Everybody, when you reach a certain maturity of spirituality, whatever that is to you, you understand that you're here to make a difference for other people. That's what really matters. And your knowledge is power to so many other people. And I would just like to add to that, it may cost to seek knowledge and education. There's always some kind of a cost to that. But ladies and gentlemen, it costs way more to be ignorant, way more. And that's why we do what we do.
Well, that's really powerfully said, and that's the reason why, as I tell my kids, the word ignorant is not a bad word. It means non-knowledgeable. I don't know how to do. So right. The thing of it is that that's the reason why, we have now created online courses. So our Become an Author program, there's an online self-paced course for writing. There's an online that takes you every step of the way of how you can do it. A lot of times it's easy to start, it's tough to finish. That's why you have a coach. Everybody should have, you're in business, you should have a coach. Robert, I know from your success, you're looking now to teach other people how to generate that success. And, Tom, I know what you're doing, you're coaching many people, but that's what our books do. It's that credibility and carrying everything that, from a spiritual coach and all your writings about how to be able to heal yourself or to be able to move forward. So we all are giving back to society. We are making a difference, and our books are a huge key on being able to be able to do that. Tom, any last words from you? Tell us again how to get to your website, how do we get a copy of your book? And before you say that, I think that was really great because, Robert, first thing he said was, hey, I found out you're going to be on the show. I went and Googled you to find out who you are. And guess what? I ordered a copy of your, see, you just, because you came on our program, you just got a book sale. Hey, we are already successful because, Tom he just sold a book to a guy I didn't know yesterday, but today, now they have something basically in common. They both hang out with elite.
That's it. Thank you so much. Final words, I will start promoting my second book, which is coming out in June or July. It's a fiction novel. It's about martial arts. It's about close protection, relationships, and so forth. And I'm very proud of it. But I guess I don't know what to say. In the success of my first book, Hiding in Plain Sight, and Robert, you'll understand why I titled that as you read the book, because I'm not a large, imposing individual, but some of the stories in there you'll find quite humorous and so forth. But I would encourage people, if you have a story, tell it. 3 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about writing a book. And then a number of friends said, why don't you just write a book? You've been to 45 countries and worked in 6 continents. And I go, okay. And I just started writing. And it's probably one of the best things I've ever done. It's amazing. It's an amazing journey in writing the book, never mind what's in the book, So I feel very blessed. I feel very honored. And I just tell people, just get that story out there. Sometimes you're shy about doing that or exposing too much of yourself. But you can make it enjoyable. And that's what I wanted to make it an adventure, something that people could read, pick up and not put down. That's what we've heard about the book. So I'm very proud, and I'm very humbled that many people just like the book and enjoy the story and so forth. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's really good. And your book also received the International Impact Award too. Right. That's a real big honor. The International Impact Award, that's a really big honor. In fact, getting your book even submitted is a big deal. Right. I know, our book, the Chuck Norris book that I published, it received the International Impact Award. But that's what I'm talking about. That's your book to be, there's hundreds of books out there, but when you write a book that can be now looked at by other people and say, well, okay, you're in that category. We like that. And to be recognized in that, I think the Chuck Norris book was probably my most successful book. With Grant, I was talking about Grandmaster Norris when I first started that picture. And here I am, writing a book and forming a partnership with the guy that I met the very first day, only through his image of the magazine. And I wanted to be just like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is a good guy. Guess what I wanted to be? I am a good guy, So that's what we're talking about. Robert, any last words for you?
It's wow. I don't know if I can have last words. I have a lot of words. Fair warning. I'm always the type of guy that has a lot to say. This is just, even so far in the few weeks I've been doing this. I'll go to what Tom said, where he said, somebody said you should write a book, and he said, all right, and it's about what you learn about yourself and not necessarily just the story you're telling. I mean, you know, I've been working on this now for maybe a month, and it's just even been such an amazing amount of time trying to put what's in your head out on the paper. I mean, I've described it to people to say, like, okay, listen, if, you know, all right, you're a mechanic and you know how to change oil, and you can say a lot about how to change a car's oil. But when you put it down on paper and you realize it's only like 2 pages, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I think I should think a little bit more about this. And you know, and again, I can only speak from my point of view as a martial arts instructor, as a person who, you know, I mean, in some ways we're natural motivators. We're constantly trying to inspire. We're constantly trying to find the key words to be able to get through to our students, and trying to put that down on paper, and figure out how we want to inspire not just our students, but as you said before, reaching an audience outside of our normal. You know, I know for me, that's what I'm trying to do with my book, and that's that it's a little bit martial arts related, but I want it to be able to impact a larger group of people, not just martial artists. So it's definitely an experience. And again, going back to some things that you guys have said, if you've ever thought about doing it, go for it. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You know, it's like, yes, you put your time into it, but you still are going to have learned something about yourself in that time. And that's not even really the worst thing that's ever going to happen to you. So yeah, it's been a great experience. And, you know, thank you to, you know, Master Bowen and Elite Publications for the opportunity. It's been great so far.
You're right. Well, you know, that's what we want, guys. You know, in Elite Publications, we have created a very unique system of doing things. You know, we hosted last year the Take Center Stage Awards event in Las Vegas. We'll be hosting that along with the Bill Wallace tribute in Vegas this upcoming year. So remember, and you know, one of my books, you know, it's gonna, maybe I don't disappear. I have 2 books out there. One is called Become an Author for Martial Artists, and the other one is Public Speaking for Martial Artists. So you got to have both of these things that you do. You say, well, I'm not a speaker. That's okay. Your book speaks for itself. But you know, as the more that we do, the better we actually become at it. Karen, any last words from you? And also, don't forget, tell us how to get your books.
Yes, my latest book is called They Call Me Master, and it is philosophy and inspiration. I know a lot of martial artists have enjoyed this book since it's been out. However, the greatest compliment I got was when my husband's doctor actually said he read the book, and to test him, I said, well, what did you like the best? And he was quoting my material. So you never know where your book's going to end up. Mine ended up in a doctor's office. So and you just never know how things will turn out. But anyway, I do have 3 other books. One was a self-published self-help book, and it was so freeing to be able to write about all the struggles that I had in my own life. Guys, I'm telling you, you should do it. It's just exhilarating and such a wonderful experience to finally know that you can go take the things that you've gone through in your life and put them down on pages, and someone is going to learn from that and become a better person. So I'm truly honored, and I just want to say thank you very much, and let me know if I can help you.
And everyone, again, Karen is now a part of our team, and we're trying to bring the best together, the best people that we can bring together to help to make you successful. So if you're thinking about, republishing a book, printing a book, you want your graphics done, trailers done, let us know. Remember, it's www.elitepublications.org, or you can email me at info@elitepublications.org, or you can just, I have a lot of friends on Facebook. You can message me, hey, Jessie, I'm thinking about writing a book. Can we talk? Make sure it makes sense to me to be able to do that. I know a lot of people that have had really bad experiences, and my job is to make sure that they don't have one of those experiences with us, and to make sure that you are successful. This is what our purpose is. So everyone, thank you so much for being on today. Guys, look forward to working with you guys on your future projects, and Again, hey, don't forget the new magazine. Don't let me forget about that. The magazine is out, and this is the Martial Arts Extraordinaire magazine. And this weekend, we're going to have a live event, and we're going to be doing a tribute to women changing lives in the martial arts. And guess who is going to be one of those women? You know, Grandmaster Karen Eden is going to be one of those people that we're going to be honoring. So remember, check out our Facebook page. Find out what we have going on. If you're looking to join an organization, check out the American Martial Arts Alliance Foundation, making a difference in the martial arts. Everyone, this is Jessie Bowen saying be blessed. And remember, everyone has a story. You just have to get it out. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.